Hello, beautiful people. Today is 21st of June. My name is Sahil and welcome to Newspaper Analysis. Friends, today we'll see a quote from Justin Trudeau, who is the Prime Minister of Canada. He says, "Diversity is the engine of invention. It generates creativity that enriches the world." So, guys, this particular quote is very much relevant for the social issues mentioned into the GS paper number 1, where the diversity is an important topic. Into this particular direction, guys, diversity acts as the force which enriches our thought thinking, which might often be painted by monochrome ideas or one-sided ideas. So guys, right now the time is there to bring three ideas together, that is the diversity, multiculturalism and inclusivity, because when all the three will come together, much needed synchronization of humanity as well as ideas can come, which will lead a nation towards the path of qualitative development into the 21st century. And now coming on to the main question of yesterday. So it says that the political instability caused by frequent and unholy change of allegiance on the part of legislators of our country is not only breach of law but of constitution also. So friends, here you need to tell two things, that how it is a breach of law and how it is a breach of constitution. So guys, you can start the intro by emphasizing that how electoral democracies or representative democracies depends on to the trust between the voter and between a legislator. So guys, when a voter is electing a legislator on basis of his ideologies, he is seeing his own reflection into him, and when he switches that ideology or that political party, then it is a breach of trust which is not desired into the representative democracies. Now guys, it is also a breach of a law, because the anti-defection law has been established, which clearly says that these defections or change of allegiance will not be tolerated. But if still being done, then it is the violation of a law. But on to the other hand, it is also the violation of constitution. And guys, here we will bring the B.R. Ambedkar's idea of constitutional morality. Now, the idea of constitutional morality cannot be summed up in two or three lines. Rather, it is an evolving idea. But in a nutshell, it means that the actors which have been given power by the constitution, they should not respect constitution only into the terms of technical laws, but also in terms of the spirit that has been imbibed by the constitution, into the terms of ideologies that is being given by the constitution. And one essential ideology is the trust between the voter and the legislator, as it is the bedrock of electoral democracy on which India as a nation has been established. And friends, every stakeholder which represents a state is bound with such constitutional morality. So, guys, on this particular line, we will be writing, and towards the conclusion, what you will provide two things. First of all, you will provide that how a behavioral change and attitudinal change into the legislator is needed to be bring. They need to be made aware that they are not the politicians, rather they are the statesmen. And secondly, the way forward should also be provided as how such allegiance changing could be avoided, and in that direction I had given you what could be done into the yesterday's article. So in this particular way, guys, we will be writing. Now, friends, I hope that every day you are trying to write these questions, because they are only meant to serve your purpose. So please keep on writing regularly and keep a realistic check on your performance and identify your weak areas. And guys, whenever you need me, always feel free to reach me. I will be responding as early as it is possible. And now, guys, let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, friends, let's take up the overview of the entire paper first. So here into the side, we can see that the High Court has allowed the public viewing of the virtual hearing. So we will see the implications. Then guys, moving forward. So the breakthrough in COVID-19 has been achieved by the introduction of new drugs. So we will see the developments. Then guys, now there are less institutional deliveries. So what could be the implications? We'll see this thing. Then moving forward, a study has been published which had portrayed the condition of laborers. So we will see how we can use it into the exam. Then moving forward, guys, there are much of the regional news and COVID news not important for our exam. Then on next is the classified page, not important. Then guys, moving forward, again the continuation of the COVID breakthrough has been given. We'll see how we'll be using. Then guys, IIT Palkad has developed the LUC for the COVID-19. So we will see that how we can use it into the exam. Then guys, the draft rules on investment and pension fund has been released. So we'll see this. After that, there is no important news onto the international page, only the protest and these kind of things have been mentioned. Then onto the business page, apart from the corporate news, there is the news onto the side column with respect to the inviting global vessels for the Indian flag. We'll see what does it means. Then guys, we are onto the science and tech page, which comes onto the Sunday. So here onto the snapshot, we can see the certain prelims related news has been given, so we will see what is there. Then guys, wild animals into the urban cluster. So why wildlife is now more protruding, we will see what could be the reasons. Now here it has been mentioned that antibodies starts to decrease, not important for our exam. Then guys, a struggle to coexist with humans, so we will see this particular article. After that, onto the FAQ page, we will see that what are the spying problems into the Google Chrome, and a brief onto the Galwan Valley which has been given. After that, guys, the Rajya Sabha polls have been discussed, which is nothing but the continuation of your Lakshmi Kant. So nothing substantial has been given. However, we had provided it, still provided it into the notes. Then, guys, moving forward onto the last page, the Ring of Fire has been mentioned. We'll discuss what it is all about. And now let's take up the detailed analysis of the newspaper. Now, friends, into the side column, the first news item, we can see that the High Court has allowed the public viewing of the virtual hearings. Now, this news article might look small, but it could be very important. Now, guys, going a little bit into the background, see, as the lockdown started and social distancing was to be followed, the courtrooms went into the virtual mode and the virtual court came into existence, where the judgments and the court hearings were being conducted through the video conferencing. Now, guys, into this video conferencing, the judiciary, the opposing parties, and their advocates were given the links they can view. But this particular thing defied a principle of the open court and fair justice. Now, guys, going into that particular direction, in 1966, Supreme Court gave a judgment into the Naresh Sridhar Mirajkar case, and here it was said that the courtroom proceedings are open to the media as well as to the public. And guys, here for the first time, the concept of the open court came in India, though earlier it was there, but explicitly it was said by the Supreme Court. And by open court, Supreme Court reasoned that into a fair and transparent democracy, everybody should be entitled to witness the performance of the judiciary. So, guys, this concept came here. Then in 2018, one more judgment came, that was the Swapnil Tripathi judgment. And here it was said that live proceedings of the court is an extension of the open court system. And whenever possible, the live proceedings should be made available to the general public. Now, guys, into the lockdown, we can see here that the general public was not being given the links to the live proceeding, and therefore it was the perfect time to implement the Swapnil Tripathi judgment, where live proceedings was to be made accessible to the public. So the action of Delhi High Court could be interpreted into the light of Swapnil Tripathi judgment. Now, friends, see, it is our duty that we don't need to see only the crude information that has been given. Rather, we need to interpret the political, economical, social implication and background behind the issues, because those type of things are only asked into the UPSC examination. And if a question on judiciary during the times of lockdown come, please do mention these two judgments. So that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here we can see that a major breakthrough into the COVID 19 has been achieved, as a drug to treat mild to moderate patients have been released. Now, guys, the drug name is the Favipiravir and will be sold under the brand name FabiFlu. Now, guys, it will be used to treat the mild to moderate patients. Therefore, it means that it is not a vaccine, rather, it is a medicine. By the way, friends, the difference between medicine and vaccine is this, that vaccine prevents you altogether to get a disease, whereas medicine will treat you once you have infected with the disease. Now, guys, the authorization has been given by the Drug Controller General of India, which is under the CDSCO, which stands for Central Drug Standard Control Organization, and the CDSCO is under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Further, guys, there are two distinct benefits of this particular drug. Number one, it can be administered orally, that is from mouth. Therefore, patients are not required to be hospitalized. And, guys, because of this, the burden onto the health infrastructure will also be reduced. And secondly, Pricing of the drug is also very much affordable. Guys, one tablet is priced nearly at 103 rupees. Therefore, it will not also pose the burden onto the poor people. Moreover, as we had seen that it treats the mild to moderate people, in India, the 80% of the COVID-19 patients are into the category of mild to moderate. So it will be a breakthrough. And because of this thing, this drug is also being called as the magic bullet. Moreover, guys, moving forward, this drug has been given the permission under the emergency use authorization. Now, what does this mean? See, when there is some pandemic or health emergency, sometimes the drug is given permission without that much rigorous introspection so that timely response can be given. But guys, into these kind of drugs, the patient who are taking, they need to sign a consent form that there could be certain repercussions and they agree with that particular thing. So friends, these are all issues surrounded here, and that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here we can see that into the aftermath of COVID 19, now fewer pregnant women are opting for the institutional deliveries. Now, in India, institutional deliveries was always a problem, and in that particular direction, National Health Mission was started, though it catered to other things also. But increasing the institutional deliveries was also a major objective of the National Health Mission. Now, guys, if we see the data of the April 2019 month, there was far more institutional deliveries, and now women simply don't go for the institutional deliveries because of the fear of COVID 19. Now, guys, though we don't need to see the data, but the major impacted regions are those which have the tribal population. Therefore, states such as Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh are very much impacted. Now, guys, apart from the fear of COVID 19, there are other factors also due to which institutional deliveries are not being taken. For example, number one, there is non availability of the hospitals because the existing hospital infrastructure has been diverted for the patients of COVID 19. Secondly, the essential services such as ambulances are simply not available because they have also been diverted. Thirdly, private hospital facilities are closed down because they are non-functional into the times of crisis. Then fourthly, the ASHA workers into the villages who were very much instrumental to sensitize women with respect to the institutional delivery are also involved into the COVID-19 prevention. So their non-functionality and non-availability is also a major factor. And guys, then finally, the issue of a fear is also very much relevant. And friends, the implication of less institutional deliveries will be reflected into the maternal mortality rate. Now, guys, if we talk about the latest maternal mortality rate, then according to the sample registration system, it is at 122 per 1 lakh live birth, which is a major achievement of government as well as of the National Health Mission. And guys, because of this, World Health Organization has also appreciated India. And guys, earlier it was expected that such progress, if continuously will be carried, then India will also be able to achieve the Sustainable Developmental Goal number 3, according to which MMR is to be reduced to 70 by the year 2030. But now, if institutional deliveries will not be carried, then guys, India's achievement onto the MMR could also be challenged. Moreover, just a couple of days back, we also read an editorial as how the mothers have been neglected into the aftermath of pandemic. So, guys, onto the health GS2, there could be a question onto these line also. Now, friends, when we talk about the reduction in MMR, government's success comes to various schemes. For example, Lakshya scheme, Poshan Abhiyan. Friends, I want you to please write into the comments that apart from Lakshya and Poshan, what are the other schemes due to which MMR has been reduced. So friends, all these could be the implications of this particular issue which is developing. I hope you have understood. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here in GS paper number 2, the topic of poverty and unemployment has been given. Now, due to the lockdown, informal laborers have been impacted the most with respect to their wages, with respect to their employment, and all these things. Now, friends, if a question comes onto this line, practically it is not possible to remember such large data which has been given into so many surveys. But we can do one smart work. What we can do, we can remember the name of one or two surveys, and by using that survey we can tell that the consequences have been dire. So guys, here the survey has been conducted by the Center for Equity Studies, which is under the Jawaharlal Nehru University. So guys, if a question onto the economic consequences come, we will just use this particular reference, as it will give authenticity to your generalist answers. And at the end of the day, such references will make your answer stand apart from the crowd, and thus a kind of an edge will be given, which is very much essential to score the above average marks into GS paper. Guys, I say that please don't remember the data, because anyhow you will be forgetting it and will not be able to recall. So that's all here, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here the IIT Palkad in Kerala had developed an ultrasound technique for COVID 19 screening. Now, guys, the SARS-CoV-2, which causes the COVID-19, impacts the lungs, and there it causes the respiratory disease and often causes the pneumonia. And to see the condition of the lungs, the standard test which is carried is the CT scan. However, sometimes the CT scan is also coupled with the X-ray, but the primary testing mechanism is the CT scan. However, sometimes there could be the shortage of technicians who can perform the CT scans or the CT scan diagnostic machines. So, in that particular capacity, an alternative screening mechanism was required. So, guys, in that particular direction, lung ultrasound was suggested as a better screening and monitoring tool, because along with the detection of COVID, it could also detect other infections. However, friends, there is a problem that once the ultrasound scan has been done, it has to be analyzed to see that what is the severity of COVID-19 and in what direction the disease is progressing. But many a time such expertise to diagnose is not available to the ground staff. So guys, what has happened? IIT Palkad has made a screening mechanism via the ultrasound, and has also made a cloud mechanism where the ultrasound scans can be uploaded, and then into the real time they could be analyzed by the experts. So guys, it is a joint venture where the La Paz Hospital, Madrid Sri Chitra Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology, and Government Medical College Kottayam all are participating along with the IIT Palkad. Moreover, friends, an app is also being developed which could be used by the clinicians, and they can upload by the help of the app also. So this is basically will further extend the better screening and will be bringing respite for the patients who are suffering with the COVID-19. So guys, that's all about this particular development, and now we'll move to next. Now, friends, certain amendments have been made into the investment into the pension funds in India via the foreign sources. Now, friends, pension funds are a very crucial part in order to provide the social security net to a person. So, into the pension funds, a person made certain payments onto the monthly, quarterly, or yearly basis, and after the retirement, he will be getting some assured monthly payments into the form of pensions. Now, guys, these pension funds are operated by both government as well as by the private entities such as banks and other type of institutions. Now, guys, these pension funds can also attract the foreign direct investment. It means that the foreigners can also invest into these pension funds. And earlier, government allowed 49% of FDI into these funds through the automatic route. Automatic route means that you don't need the permission of the government, and directly up to 49% you can invest. But now there have been a change into these rules, and now it has been said that this automatic permission will now not apply, and for any FDI into the pension funds from the bordering countries, the permission from the government is needed to be taken. Now, guys, this particular issue is mainly directed towards China, because what can happen? China can flush large amount of money into the pension funds of India and can suddenly withdraw the money from these pension funds and thus can destabilize the issue. Moreover, guys, not only here but earlier onto other fronts also the FDI by China has been severely restricted. So just to avoid a kind of an economic warfare against India, these kind of steps are being taken. Moreover, friends, from time to time the other changes will also be brought, and as they will come we will see this thing. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here we can see that the government had invited global vessel owners to flag ships in India. Now, first of all, before going into the news, we will see certain basic concepts. See, flagging a ship in India or in any country means to register the ship into that particular country. So, guys, every ship carries a flag of a particular nation in which it was registered. And into the context of India, the registering or flagging of ships is done by the Directorate General of Shipping, which is under the Ministry of Shipping. And now coming back to the news. So government says that the global vessel owners should register their ships in India. Why? Because of two things. See, recently government has said that the government will not procuring any product from the global manufacturer or from the global service providers if the value is less than 200 crore rupees. Now guys, there are large government consignments which are moving here and there, and if the value of those consignments will be less than 200 crore, then the tender will not be given to some foreign flagged ship, rather it will be given to the Indian flagged ship. So in this context it is being said that if the global vessel owners will flag their ships in India, so they will also be entitled to receive the tender whose value is less than 200 crore rupees. Now there could be a question that what could be the benefit to India in doing all this thing. So guys, benefit will be because there is a Make in India project which government is doing, and under Make in India, if Indian flagged vessels will be promoted, then obviously there will be the impetus to the shipping manufacturing industry, as well as a lot of associated things are also there. For example, ship management, maritime administration, and the supply of the seafarers, all this kind of avenues will be promoted. Moreover, guys, one more additional attachment we can make here. You might have heard that India is going towards the blue revolution, which is bringing the economic prospects via the marine resources. So guys, into the blue revolution, one more feather we can add by bolstering up the shipping and navigation industry. So in that particular direction, much needed welfare will be done by this particular reform. So guys, that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now friends, we are into the science and tech section, and the first article we will take from the side column where certain facts have been mentioned which could be important for the prelims exam, because such question have been asked in 2017, 18 and 19. See, this particular article talks about the presence of water into certain exoplanets and extraterrestrial bodies. Now, friends, we know that there are world over efforts going on to search life beyond the Earth. Now, first of all, the moon of the Saturn, that is Enceladus, has been mentioned, and the Jupiter's moon Europa has been mentioned, which could have water and might support the life. And apart from them, there are other exoplanets also which might support the life, and they belonged to the TRAPPIST 1 system. Now, guys, what is this TRAPPIST 1 system? So, it is a red dwarf star which has been found 40 light years away, nearly 39.6 light years to be very precise. And guys, this star has a constellation of planets that are orbiting around to it. For example, sun is also a star and our entire solar system revolves around it. So around the TRAPPIST there are planets which are revolving, and according to the present estimates there are 7 temperate terrestrial planets which are revolving. So guys, here there is the possibility of the water. Moreover, guys, when we talk about the TRAPPIST 1 system, then out of these 7, the 3 planets also have the hospitable environment also. Now, guys, one more thing. Though right now there are 7 in TRAPPIST 1, there are efforts to identify the other planets also. So into the future they can increase also. So guys, 3 things we had seen here: the TRAPPIST 1 and the moon of the Saturn as well as Jupiter. So guys, there could be a question like on one side they will give you the moons and other side they will write the planet, then you need to match, or they could give a general statement with respect to a trappist one and can give certain following statement. So please vary of these particular things. And now we'll move to next. Now, guys, this particular article provides a certain insights as right now the animals are venturing into the human territories, and into the recent times we had seen that elephants, tigers, leopards, civet cats, porcupines, etc. have came to the different villages and territories. So it gives insight as why this thing is happening. So, guys, first of all, if we analyze the availability of land onto the earth, then of the total land 30% is desert, 24% is mountains. So nearly 45 to 50% area is hospitable for civilized style of life. Now guys, this 45 to 50% of area was being shared by the man as well as animal into the primitive time. But nearly 17,000 years ago, man started to move into the civilized life, and therefore, into this available land, two zones were created. One zone was for the man, and other zone was for the wildlife. Today this wildlife zone is called as forest, and the man's zone is called as cities and habitations. But see, if we clearly analyze, then guys, actually there have been no boundaries. Those pseudo boundaries have been created by us into the terms of state boundaries, district boundaries, but actually there is no differentiation. And now, during the lockdown, these artificial boundaries are now even being eroded, and wildlife are entering into the man's realm. So, guys, in this particular direction, the five reasons have been given by a study that has been conducted into the USA. And according to it, reason number one is that during the lockdown, the restaurants have been closed, and due to it, the trash collection has moved somewhere else. And now, guys, the remnants and the leftovers are not being able to reach into the peripheral dumping grounds, and due to this particular thing, the rats and insects are now coming into the cities in order to search for the food. Secondly, due to the lockdown, the human activities or the presence of the human pets have been very much reduced. And guys, due to this, the fear into the wildlife animals have been reduced, and now they are more comfortable to enter into the human territories. Now, guys, interestingly, the article calls the human beings as the super predators who are actually very much deadlier than even of the furious animals. Thirdly, now guys, the birds are adjusting their songs and their tunes due to the silent and quietness which is there into the environment, and due to this, there is more chirping of the birds which can now be observed. Fourthly, this is the springtime, and now large number of animals are coming out of their hibernation, and they are venturing into the search of foods. For example, now the snakes, now the bears will come out of hibernation, and now they are ending into the human civilizations due to the quietness and calmness which has came. And guys, the reason number 5 is that earlier also there were certain intrusions, but we were so much busy that we never observed them. But now, due to the lockdown, we are also more observing it. So guys, these are the five reasons, and if any question onto the man animal conflict or the increased sighting of the wildlife comes into GS3, it is a ready-made answer. Now moving forward, now see, into the light of lockdown and the environment biodiversity, there is one movement which is going on, that is the global human confinement experience, where the scholars are saying that there are distinct data collected by the different research organizations about the impacts of the lockdown. So now it is being said that all such data should be brought together, and so that we can see that what are the cumulative negative as well as positive impact of the lockdown onto the environment, ecology, biodiversity, and all that kind of thing. So guys, more comprehensively we can analyze that how lockdown has impacted the mother nature. So guys, this is something more which you can use into your essays also. So that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now friends, this article majorly continues on to the line of the previous article only. Now, as we had seen that the space for the survival of both animal as well as man is limited. So guys, this is one another example where man is venturing into the mountainous region also, and into the mountains large number of ungulates used to live, and now they are facing high mortality because of the intrusion by the man. Now guys, by the way, ungulates, they refer to the large group of mammals who have hoofs into their feet. So guys, horse for example, deer, blue sheep, all they are the example of ungulates. Now into this entire article only one thing has been said, that now as man animals are going, they are also bringing the dogs and such kind of predators with them, and often these dogs, they hunt these ungulates and they face mortality because of this particular thing. Moreover guys, various diseases are also being passed by the dogs to these ungulates. For example, the dogs have a tapeworm into their abdomen, and many a times these tapeworms are passed into the grasses, and these grasses are consumed by the, yeah, ungulates such as the yak. And due to this, into the region near the Bhutan, 10% of yaks are dying due to the tapeworm consumed by the grasses. So guys, just a dimension which could be noted here. So that's it. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, this particular article puts that there have been a research in which certain vulnerable points into the web browsers such as Google Chrome have been identified. Now, guys, it has been said that the intruders are now identifying a new way, that is using the extensions or the add-ons which are offered by various web browsers. For example, into the Google Chrome, there is an add-on which is the ad blocker. So if you'll install, you'll not see the ads. So guys, in that way there are large number of extensions which make the experience of using the X browser very much easy. And now, as most of the time onto a computer system is being spent onto the web browsers, such vulnerabilities are very much dangerous. Now guys, it is being said that these extensions have the malicious spyware which can take up the sensitive information such as passwords, credit card information, can take the screenshots, can take the information from the clipboards, etc., and can transmit to a person or a hacker who can use them for the malicious intent. Now guys, due to these increasing malicious spywares, Google Chrome has removed a large number of extensions, but still there is a large area where they can intrude. However, friends, into this particular direction, a permanent solution will be very much difficult, because as the technology is improving, there are more vulnerabilities which are being exploited. So, guys, just as a part of a cyber security, we will see this. However, some specific information is not there to look about. So that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, guys, next on to the FAQ is, who does Galwan Valley belong to? Now, guys, even before this article came, we had discussed this entire issue, including this map, into the yesterday's newspaper, as well as earlier also as the part of our analysis. So, we will not be going unnecessarily into the article, we'll just see a brief and we will see certain historical evidences. Now, friends, yesterday we had seen a map like this where we had told you that the PP patrolling point number 14 into the Galwan Valley is the site of clash where the disputes right now are happening. So guys, here the red line you can see is the line of actual control, and this particular region belongs to China and this particular region belongs to India. So Galwan Valley is shared by both. But now the China is saying that the entire Galwan Valley up to the Shyok River confluence. See, this is the point where the Galwan River and the Shyok River are meeting. So this entire region is being shown into their map. Now guys, here a reference has been given that the Chinese premier Zhou Enlai portrayed a map in 1956 in which the entire Galwan Valley was shown as the part of India. So guys, it is a point where India can contest. Secondly, in 1962, again a map was projected where the Galwan Valley was shown as the part of China and not in India, but still the western part, that is the confluence of the Galwan and Shyok River, was shown the part of India. But right now, it is far more escalation even of the historical positions where China is being greedy and claiming the entire Galwan Valley. So, guys, that's all. Now we'll move to next. Now, friends, here the Ring of Fire event has been mentioned, which will be seen into the North India today, that is on Sunday. So, guys, this ring of fire is nothing but it is a solar eclipse or a phenomena where the moon comes in between the position of the earth and the sun. Now, guys, the solar eclipse could be of three types, that is the total, partial, and the annular. And, guys, the ring of fire will be formed when there will be the annular eclipse. Now, it is very easy, nothing much difficult. See, moon revolves around the earth in an elliptical manner, and because of this elliptical manner, not always moon will be coming between the sun and the earth into the same fashion. It will be coming at the different trajectories in between them, and because of that particular thing, either moon will be covering the sun entirely, so there will be the total eclipse, or it will be covering the sun partially, so there will be the partial eclipse. And sometimes the annular will be one when a kind of a ring is formed, that is, the moon fails to completely overshadow the sun, and therefore such ring is called as the ring of a fire, also called as annular eclipse, which will be witnessed today. Now, guys, certain other more terminologies. See, when the moon will be coming in between, then a shadow will be falling onto the earth. Now, guys, there are two sections into this shadow. One is called as the penumbra, where the shadow is the darkest or where there is a partial eclipse, and other is the atumbra, which will be also into the zone of the moon's shadow. So, guys, please remember these two terminologies as where they are associated. Don't need to go so much specifically. So, guys, that's all about these newspaper discussion, and now we'll go to the question section. Guys, please pause the video and try to answer the question. So, first question is with respect to the World Food Program. Please identify the correct code. Now, the question number 2 is with respect to the Financial Action Task Force. So, guys, please read the statement and identify the correct code. Question number 3 is, guys, with respect to the Sangam literature mentioned into the ancient history. So, please read the statements and identify the correct code. And question number 4 is with respect to the GAFA tax, which has often been into the news. Please identify the right code. And now, friends, today being Sunday, we will not be taking the mains question. So, guys, that's all for today. I hope you are liking our discussion. Thank you so much.